This is ZNS.
And welcome to this first press conference related to the government's response to Hurricane Melissa. My name is Dominique Martin. I'm the Acting Managing Director at the Disaster Risk Management Authority with responsibility for NGO relations, communications, and resource mobilization. With us today to give you an update on the government's response efforts and our state of readiness are the Honorable Minister Leon Lundy, Managing Director of the Disaster Risk Management Authority, Aaron Sargent, and the Deputy Director of the Bahamas Department of Meteorology, Mr. Jeffrey Green. So to begin with remarks, we'll begin with Director Green, who will give us the latest from the Bahamas Department of Meteorology.
Good evening, everyone. This is alert number 1 on Hurricane Melissa, issued by the Bahamas Department of Meteorology at 6 p.m. today. Hurricane Melissa resumes intensification. Life-threatening and catastrophic flash flooding and landslides expected in portions of Jamaica and southern Hispaniola through midweek, with hurricane-force winds likely to begin tomorrow. A hurricane alert is now in effect for the central and southeast Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands. This includes the islands of Exuma and its keys, Long Island, San Salvador, Cat Island, Auckland, Crooked Island, Long Key, Maguana, Inagua, and the Turks and Caicos Islands. A hurricane alert means that hurricane conditions could be experienced within the mentioned islands within 60 hours. At 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, the center of Hurricane Melissa was located near latitude 16.4 degrees north and longitude 77.2 degrees west, or about 370 miles southwest of Duncantown, Ragged Island, 380 miles southwest of Matutang, Inagua, 450 miles southwest of Salina Point, Auckland, 478 miles southwest of Providenciales, Turks and Caicos Islands, and 482 miles southwest of Maguana, and 602 miles south of New Providence. Hurricane Melissa is moving towards the west, near 5 miles an hour. This motion is expected to continue this evening. A slow westward motion is expected tonight, followed by a turn to the north and northeast on Monday and Tuesday. On this forecast track, the center of Melissa is expected to move near or over Jamaica on Tuesday, across southeastern Cuba Tuesday night, and across the southeast Bahamas on Wednesday. Maximum sustained winds have increased to near 145 miles an hour with higher gusts. Melissa is a Category 4 hurricane on the Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale. Additional intensification is expected over the next day or so, followed by fluctuations. Melissa is expected to be a powerful major hurricane when in Jamaica on Monday night or Tuesday morning, and southeastern Cuba late Tuesday. Hurricane force winds extend outward up to 30 miles from the center, and tropical storm force winds extend outward up to 205 miles from the center. Residents in the central and southeast Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands should prepare for the possibility of hurricane or tropical storm conditions beginning late Tuesday or early Wednesday morning. Residents in the northern and northwest Bahamas should closely monitor Hurricane Melissa should it continue to move across the forecast track that could bring tropical storm and hurricane conditions to the southwest islands and the southeast Bahamas, including the Turks and Caicos, beginning Tuesday, and the rest of the southeast and central islands on Wednesday through Thursday. However, the magnitude of the potential impacts depends on the intensity of Melissa as it approaches the Bahamas. Melissa is forecast to interact with major mountainous regions in Jamaica and Cuba and Hispaniola, and could potentially weaken the system slightly as it nears the southeast and central Bahamas late Tuesday and Wednesday. Residents in the southeast and central Bahamas, as well as the Turks and Caicos Islands, should brace themselves for prolonged periods of heavy rainfall that will lead to severe flooding, strong winds, and coastal inundation beginning Tuesday, should Melissa forecast track hold. So this basically is saying that we need to prepare. It's a very strong storm, and as it reached the Bahamas, we still expect it to be at least a Category 3, which can be very harmful to our island. So please make preparations now before the storm reaches your island. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Green. We now invite the Minister with responsibility for disaster risk management, the Honorable Leon Lundy, to give additional information on the state of readiness.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, members of the press, and to all Bahamians and residents tuning in across our islands. At this hour, Hurricane Melissa has been battering Jamaica for more than a day, bringing relentless rain, strong winds, and dangerous seas, while severe weather now extends to parts of Hispaniola. It is forecasted to move across sections of Cuba and then toward the southern islands of the Bahamas before reaching the Turks and Caicos Island. Our thoughts and prayers are with our Caribbean brothers and sisters who are already feeling the effects of this dangerous storm. We stand in full solidarity with them, and we are mindful that the same system will begin to influence our own islands in the coming days. For many Bahamians, the word hurricane and the idea of a slow-moving system stir painful memories of Hurricane Dorian. We remember the destruction, the flooding, and the heartbreak that came along with it. That is why we take Hurricane Melissa seriously, because we understand the risks and we know the cost of underestimating a storm of this nature. There's no need for alarm, but right now, preparation should be everyone's focus. The government of the Bahamas is fully engaged and mobilized. All relevant agencies, including the Disaster Risk Management Authority, are working in close coordination. Teams are on alert, resources are being positioned, and communities are being briefed. We are carefully weighing the possibility of evacuations in the southern region, as current forecasts make that increasingly likely. Any decision will be made with careful consideration, guided by expert advice, and with the single purpose of protecting lives. Let me assure the Bahamian people, your government is working, your systems are active, and your safety remains our top priority. We have faced a long and demanding hurricane season, and each storm has strengthened our response network, and today, that network stands ready. But preparedness is not only the work of the government. It begins with each of us. I urge everyone to stay alert, stay informed, and stay connected to the official channels. Follow the advisories from the Disaster Risk Management Authority and the Department of Met. Do not rely on rumors or unofficial reports. Again, I repeat, do not rely on rumors or unofficial reports. This is the time to get storm ready. Check your supplies, secure your property, ensure that your family knows your plan, and look out for your neighbors, especially the elderly and the most vulnerable amongst us. We cannot control the path of Hurricane Melissa, but we can control our level of preparedness. Calm vigilance and collective responsibility are the keys to keeping our nation safe. The strength of the Bahamas has always been the strength of its people, united, disciplined, and resilient in the face of every challenge. Together, we will once again demonstrate this strength. May God protect our islands and keep our people safe, and may He continue to bless the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. We now invite Director Sargent.
Good evening, all. The Disaster Risk Management Authority has been closely monitoring Hurricane Melissa and coordinating the government of the Bahamas' preparedness and response efforts. We remain and we are ready to act to safeguard lives and support the affected communities. The Prime Minister, his cabinet, senior members of his cabinet, leader of the opposition, and opposition members have all been fully briefed and are actively engaged in the national response through the coordination work of the authority. The following is a high-level overview of our preparedness and coordination actions to date. The DRM Authority has begun monitoring the weather system that has now become Hurricane Melissa as of Saturday, October 18th. On Tuesday, October 21st, our partners at the Bahamas Department of Meteorology has advised that there is a potential for the system to develop as a tropical storm. On Wednesday, October 22nd, we began holding coordination meetings with Family Island administrators, reviewing disaster protocols and examining impact scenarios based on predictive models. We also met with the Ministry of Works and Family Island Affairs, as well as representatives of the Water and Sewage Corporation. Our teams and systems were placed on standby, ready to activate national protocols if necessary. Simultaneously, we began engaging our regional mechanisms, including the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, CDEMA, and the Caribbean Institute of Hydrology and Meteorology. On Thursday, we began the preliminary activation of our systems once the Department of Meteorology confirmed that Melissa had reached tropical storm strength, and we worked throughout the weekend. At 9:30 this morning, the DRM Authority convened an internal planning meeting to review the latest forecast information and operational priorities. At noon, I met with our internal disaster operations team, who subsequently met with Family Island administrators to confirm their readiness across the islands at risk. This was immediately followed by a meeting with the National Disaster Operations Committee and a national security briefing with the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, the Commodore and his senior commanders, the Commissioner and her senior Assistant Commissioners of Police of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, and the Department of Immigration. All of the Commodore of the Defense Force, Commissioner of Police, and Director of Immigration all took part in this briefing. During these meetings, the DRM Authority provided comprehensive updates on the state of readiness, evacuation preparations, and the latest projections from the Department of Meteorology. This evening, the National Disaster Emergency Operations Center, NDEOC, will be fully activated. All emergency support functions, ESFs, and section chiefs are directed to report to the NDEOC at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. With Hurricane Melissa posing a particular serious threat to our southern islands, plans are being put in place for potential evacuations, as Minister alluded to, which may soon become necessary based on the latest forecasts. Preparatory work is underway through the Family Island administrators to identify residents who are receptive to an evacuation. The DRM Authority is coordinating closely with our partners to secure necessary transport and logistical assets to support these operations. Volunteer networks have been mobilized to assist with the evacuation and support, and we are working to refine those logistics to ensure that these movements are carried out safely, swiftly, and with dignity. The DRM Authority is actively working with our partners and activating pre-positioned relationships and assets with the private sector, NGO community, and other national agencies to ensure a coordinated, effective response. We urge all residents, especially those in the southern Bahamas, including Maguana, Inagua, Crooked Island, Auckland, and Ragged Island, to closely monitor official updates, finalize household preparedness plans, and follow the guidance of all local authorities. The Disaster Risk Management Authority remains fully committed to safeguarding lives and ensuring that our national response effort is swift, coordinated, and effective. This is an ongoing event, and we will share updates with the public in the coming days as the situation evolves and responses needs become more defined. Thank you.
Thank you, Managing Director Sargent. We now open the floor to questions.
Lindsay and Richie from Eyewitness News. I know Mr. Sargent and Minister Lundy both spoke about possible evacuation plans, right? So what would that look like for those residents? How soon will they know, especially, for the senior citizens on islands like Mayaguana and Crooked Island, where they are really vulnerable?
The one thing I would say is that we are seeing an uptick in residents becoming much more proactive. As we've seen in Tropical Storm Imelda, residents move very swiftly even before evacuation orders are given. We are seeing that same trend in the southeastern Bahamas. Administrators are diligently at work going door to door, canvassing with residents to determine who would like to leave. We've gotten information from social services as to the elderly, people with various ailments who need to be evacuated first, and we are coordinating through our international, regional, and local partners to secure air assets to move those individuals once it becomes once we finalize the evacuation plans and orders.
Amaya Moss from Eyewitness News. So in the event, I'm sorry, from ZNS. My bad. I would withdraw that bad, my bad. So, ZNS. In the event residents don't want to evacuate, are there shelters open? Are there adequate amount of supplies there for shelters on various islands in the event the hurricane?
Once an evacuation order is given, it is strongly encouraged that residents heed those warnings. In these cases, evacuations orders in this instance mean evacuation out of island, as we will be guided by the Department of Met. All of the islands in question are low-lying except for Ragged Island, and so that would mean evacuating of all individuals off island.
Okay, I have a question for the director. I wanted to ask, we just experienced a tropical cyclone just a few weeks ago, and that caused excessive amount of flooding and some gusty winds. How does Melissa compare or contrast from the previous hurricanes that we've experienced?
Okay, so this storm will give us some potential areas that will cause flooding because of the amount of rainfall that normally come with tropical cyclones, but I don't think it'll be to the extreme of what we got with the last few weeks when we had up to 3 to 6 inches of rainfall within a day. So we're not looking at that unless things changes. What is happening with this storm is expected to come off of Cuba and move at a good pace. So we're looking at least moving at around 15 miles an hour. Now, if that changes, then it changes the ball game in terms of flooding, because we know that we will get some flooding with these type of systems, but we'll get extreme flooding if it slows down.
What advice would you give to residents in reference to preparation? We have some who don't really take these kind of things seriously, so how imperative is preparation at this time?
Preparation is key to save your property and your life. So I urge anyone who hears my voice to make the most preparation that they can when they actually have time to do it. So that means that if you have time now, you can prepare your homes for any eventuality, and then you can leave that home and you could feel safe to go to elsewhere where you could be protected.
Just additionally to Deputy Director Green, preparedness, please visit getready.gov.bs. Those members in the southeastern Bahamas, once you're preparing, as you should be now, we encourage you to visit getready.gov.bs to look for shelter listings. We have a number of resources that would help you to prepare in your preparedness efforts, how to safeguard your homes, your residences, and any valuable property that you may have, and also what to bring if there's a need for an evacuation, if there's a need for you to stay at a shelter. These are the things you can find on getready.gov.bs.
So if there are no further questions, that brings this briefing to a close. Thank you. 6:48.
Good.
Yeah.
elated to have the National Insurance Board celebrate in service with us this morning.
It is always a pleasure to be in a cathedral where multiple blessings flow.
Thank you, workers, for staying committed to your task simply because you know who you are. You are peculiar. You're different.
And we are truly grateful to join in this worship.
And continue to be blessed.
I have been coming to this island since I was 12 years old. It didn't take me long to realize the rich history it has here. When I bought this island in 2018, I fulfilled a lifelong dream. The goal is not only to preserve the memories I made over those years, but to make new ones and to give others the opportunity to do the same. As we go through this process, it has become clear to me, we aren't just rebuilding an island, we're reviving a legend.
Breast cancer is the leading cause of cancer deaths in the Bahamas and in Bahamian women. At present, we are unable to prevent breast cancer, but performing screening mammograms can detect breast cancer at its earliest when there are no symptoms and when it is more likely to be treated successfully. All women should have a primary health care provider who is aware of their medical history, family history, and risk factors. Women 40 to 45 years can choose whether to start screening in consultation with their physician. All women 45 to 54 years should have an annual mammogram. Women older than 55 years can have a yearly mammogram or choose to have one every 2 years. Monthly breast self-exams in conjunction with the mammogram can increase the odds of early detection. Be proactive about your health.
We are here in the time of need. There's no discrimination. The mission is to relieve the suffering. We volunteer, we deliver care. With donors and partners, we're always here to turn compassion into action. Protecting life and health with our training throughout the years. We empower to heal the world. There is hope, assistance with disasters. There is shelter and love for our people. We can work together to help those in need. So volunteer with us and donate to show you care. There is hope, assistance with disasters. There is shelter and love for our people. We can work together to help those in need. So volunteer with us and donate to show you care. Together, let's build a more resilient Bahamas. Community farming for food security. Climate programs suited for our island country. Together, let's build a more resilient Bahamas.
This message brought to you by the Bahamas Red Cross Society in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Who's gonna fill that shoes? Who's gonna stand